Terrence James, and you're watching another episode of Neutral Reviews, where we do real reviews for real decisions. And today, we are looking at the 2022 Volvo XC90 Recharge. And I have borrowed the keys for this vehicle from Leavens Volvo Cars London that has a fantastic location, beautiful showroom, elite customer care, and who offers some of the most safe, practical, and luxurious vehicles on the road today, including this one. Now, the XC90 was Volvo's entry into the mid-size SUV market for the 2003 model year, and the T8 was their entry into the hybrid market for the 2016 model year. And last year for 2021, they rebranded as the Recharge to better fit with their overall electrification strategy, which is to try to win over the fence-sitters who either aren't quite ready for this brave new EV world yet, or who don't live in such a magical place that has charging stations on every corner, through familiar designs and offering flexible powertrains that are still better for the environment. So we take a look at the facts, feels, and final thoughts of the 2022 XC90 Recharge to see if it is in fact the sensible choice for those looking to slowly ease their way into electric like an old man or me into a bath. So let's take a look. Now, the XC90 Recharge sits atop Volvo's lineup, and this year they've gotten rid of the base Momentum and instead giving you two versions in the inscription, with the premium being in line with the R design. So essentially you're picking your style. So the base Expression inscription is $80,450 Canadian plus fees and taxes, and for about $10,000 more you can upgrade to this premium version, which is $90,000, which is in line and just a little bit more than the $88,200 for that R design, and that's mainly due to missing a few key features like ventilated seats due to being in the name of sportiness. Now, competition, you are looking at your BMW X5 plug-in hybrid, which is going to be a little bit cheaper but not quite as luxurious or unique. And you could look at something like the Porsche Cayenne plug-in hybrid, which is going to be a little bit more expensive but drive better and have an even better name. Basically anything that is German, that is also safe, practical, luxurious, and has electrification is going to be on that short list. So let's talk performance. Volvo uses their 2-liter inline four-cylinder engine with direct injection, and it also has a supercharger, and it also has a turbocharger, and it also has a hybrid system up front to make it more efficient, and it has an electric motor in the back with 11.6 kilowatt-hour battery pack, which you can also get extended range on, which can give you a combined horsepower of 400 and a combined torque of 472, which is capable of rocketing this giant 5,142-pound vehicle from 0 to 60 in as little as 4.9 seconds, or 13.6 in the quarter mile, or 102 miles an hour, which is actually faster than this vehicle, which has been the talk of the town for the last couple of years as a reference point. And when we're looking at this vehicle not being charged, according to my research, you're looking at about 27 miles per gallon combined. And if you have it fully charged and you're driving purely on electric, you can get anywhere between about 30 to 50 kilometers of range, or around 20 to 30 miles, which is pretty impressive. So if you happen to need a giant luxury SUV and live within walking distance of everywhere you need to go, this is a perfect vehicle for you. Now, all that power runs through the 8-speed Aisin automatic transmission, and they use that electric motor in the rear to act as an all-wheel drive system, giving you traction back there when you lose it up front, and also to help propel you around the corners. And when we're talking about steering, it uses electrical steering with adaptive steering, depending on your driving and your inputs. Now, with wheels, we got these beautiful upgraded 21-inch rims with the, more importantly, wider rubber on here. You're looking at 275/40 R21s, which is going to help with the extra weight of those batteries. Now, when we're talking brakes, we have 4-wheel disc with regenerative braking, and you have an option on here that you can turn on and off for a one-pedal type braking, which works pretty well. Now, when we're talking about suspension, we have aluminum, which is nice, and an upgrade here compared to some manufacturers, double wishbone up front, and you have multi-link in the rear. And again, if you got the optional air suspension, that is in part to accommodate that and just overall better driving dynamics. So when we're talking about chassis, Volvo uses the SPA scalable platform, which was designed from the get-go for hybridization. And you're looking at about 117.5-inch wheelbase, which is about the same as the Toyota Highlander, and is also a respectable 71 decibels on the highway, which is in line with everyone else for noise. Now, when we look back here, I don't see any exhaust pipes, but this is what it sounds like. And when properly equipped, you're looking at about 5,000 pounds that this vehicle can tow, which is the equivalent to one of these active urban lifestyles hanging off the back of your XC90 Recharge. So now that we've taken a look at the facts, let's take this for a drive and see how they feel. Okay, so we're going to do a traffic light Grand Prix style test here just to see how fast this is with a load full of kids in the back. We got to get away from a stoplight in a hurry. So here we go. We got it in sport mode. Just normal acceleration, because this is how you do it if you got the kids in the back. And there's 100 right there. So I have to say there is plenty of power, and considering how big this vehicle is, that is super, super impressive, I have to say. And one of the things that I really like with the acceleration of this vehicle is when you have it in hybrid mode on your daily driving, and you're just essentially using that electric torque, it is very addictive. This is my first plug-in hybrid vehicle I've driven, and it is really, really cool. I have to tell you that. Really instantaneous, like absolutely instantaneous torque, but not so much that it's scary. It's hard to explain until you actually drive it, but it's quite something, and it's there all the time. That's really, really awesome. So let's test the braking. All right, similarly here, we're going to do an emergency style type stop to see if all that stuff from the kids ends up in the front here with me. So here we go. Woo! Hard acceleration. And here we go, hard on the brakes. So as you can see, the vehicle kept really composed under hard braking. And one of the more important things, just daily driving it, that regenerative braking works really, really well. That one pedal driving, you can turn it off if you want. And there's only one setting for it, but I have to say that it's pretty even. Like, it's not too bad. And I've never driven one before, and I was worried about it, and I have to say it's really, really great. And just your normal everyday braking is awesome in this. I don't know if it's 4-piston or 2-piston in the front, or if it's just 2-piston that works really well with that regenerative braking. But I have to say that this vehicle stops really, really well considering it's over 5,000 pounds. And the fact that this brake pedal is not spongy is awesome. All right, so this time let's see how this handles with a load full of kids in the back. Here we go. We're going way faster than you ever would, honestly, with kids in there or anybody. We're going through some sharp corners here. Hole's really nice. A lot of body roll though. Hole's really tight. It's strange. I don't know if it's these big tires or what. It holds really well, but you can really feel that 5,000 pounds move around. To be fair, if you had that adaptive air suspension, it might be a little bit better. I don't know. But it handles fairly firm. I have it in sport mode, but as I said, you can really feel that weight move around, but it did not feel unsafe by any means, because I'm doing way sportier driving than this vehicle is really designed for. And this time what we're going to do is we're just going to put it in a hybrid mode. It does actually have an off-road mode, but this being a $100,000 brand new vehicle, we're obviously not off-roading it. We're just on this little gravel road here, and if you look, you can see me bop up and down, but you can also see the undulation on the side camera here of the wheels. And in reality, this is a normal road. Like, this would be a gravel driveway if somebody had one. It's nothing hardcore or anything like that, but it rides really, really soft. And again, I'd be impressed to see what the air ride suspension in this vehicle would be like. It feels really good. You don't pick up a lot of road noise on the highway. These tires being pretty big, that's impressive. But all in all, I have to say this vehicle rides really nice and really quiet at that 71 decibels on the highway. It's definitely luxury for sure. And when we talk styling, we had said that Volvo was trying to win over those who just aren't quite ready for EV yet through familiar designs. So they've kept the Thor hammer headlights up front. You have those long vertical tail lights in the rear that go around those wide hips. And of course you have that classic Volvo grille up front as well. And in this world of driving soulless jelly beans, what I really like as well is they've kept the classic SUV shape, even though this probably isn't the most efficient of designs. But again, to try to win those fence sitters over. And I personally like Volvo's elegant design. I really do. I like the fact that you can dress these up and you can dress them down. And I personally think that the Inscription model here is the appropriate choice over the R design, because really this vehicle is all about being safe, practical, and luxurious. So that makes a lot more sense to have it in this trim. Now, when we're talking seats, we're talking comfortable. These things are awesome. This is the first vehicle I've been in with these bottom parts here that move and adjust to help the bottom part of your legs, which is great. I'm not the world's tallest person, but it's nice and handy. I like these seats. They're ergonomic, they're sporty, they're comfortable. I love the way they look. I love those perforated holes, which also come in handy because these are ventilated, which is nice on a hot day like this to cool them down a bit. And of course, they're heated for the winter time or if you're in a colder climate. This steering wheel, Oh boy, love it. Not my favorite look, but it feels really good in the hand. It really, really does. These buttons here look a little bit cheap for a $100,000 vehicle, but they work well. Of course, this is telescoping and tilting, so there's lots of movement. It is a little school busy, but again, you're driving something that's almost the size of a school bus, so that's fine. Steering feels great. We said that it was got that adaptive weight to it. Again, this is not like that Porsche Cayenne I drove or anything like that. It's more luxury based, but the steering is fine. Pedals, no aluminum pedals, which surprises me, especially in the more luxurious version, but maybe in the R design, I don't know 100% if that has it, maybe for a sportier type look, but really you're not looking down at your feet anyway. When we were talking before about these seats, tons of adjustment, they got lumbar and things like that, but I also wanted to mention that there's multiple memory settings as well, so if you got multiple drivers in here, that's good as well. Switch gear, again, this is the first Volvo, modern Volvo I've been in a while. It all works well. And I like that, but some of the stuff here, like these coming off here, these look a little cheap to me. They look like something off a Chevy, not a Volvo. But again, Volvo, there's budgets and everything, and they have done a really good job at putting the right materials in the right places, like this wood here, the aluminum, this leather, the stitching. You've got multiple colors. It's quite something in here, even when you look at how high-end this rear view mirror is, things like that. I love the fact that you have this big panoramic roof, lots and lots of greenhouse space in here. Yet the belt lines are still pretty high, so you feel safe, but again, that's what Volvo is, and it is a safe vehicle. One thing that I learned about this vehicle that I was telling the dealer about that I thought was really interesting is all the vehicles, of course, try to go for that 5-star safety and different various types of crashes, but that's pretty much where those other companies leave it. Whereas Volvo, instead of spending their money like Porsche or other companies on performance or things like that, they put it into safety. So they actually will develop safety and strategies and engineering and everything around multiple crashes, not just the ones that are regulatory based, which is really nice. What else to talk about in here as far as inputs go? It's not a manual transmission and it's not sporty, so we don't have paddles or anything like that, but you do have this beautiful crystal shifter. I will not take it because I'm on video, and I wouldn't do that anyway. But it is awesome. It's a crystal shifter, and over here you have wireless charging, which is nice. It's a little small, to be honest with you. I have a new iPhone 13, and it's not even the big one, and it doesn't fit all that well. You have cup holders here. Again, maybe if you got like fancy people water bottles, they might fit in here, but really I would think that they'd be a little bit better for that. Same with the door pockets. You do have lots of space here, but being that big of an SUV, I thought there would be a little bit more space. And in the back you've got lots of space as well, and I absolutely love Volvo, and I love companies like this that put all these little practical features. So when you look in the back trunk there, they have all kind of little hooks and tie down things. You've got a 12-volt plug-in. You have harder materials in the very back trunk area, so you're not going to wreck stuff. You've got a little tray of storage underneath there when you lift that up, where traditionally a spare tire might be. And as you can see, there's tons and tons of space back there. You've got multiple split seats because you have that folding third row back there. And when you just put that down, so it's a conventional kind of a 5-seater, you've got tons and tons of space. But even with those back seats up, as you can see, there's still a fair amount of space back there as well. And for the people sitting back there, the nice thing when you buy a vehicle like this, this expensive and this type of a luxury vehicle, is they put some time and effort back in there. So both the third row and second row have air, and the people here in the back, they actually have their own digital controls, which is nice. And as you can see, there's actually vents that come out by the floor. You've got vents on the B-pillar, and even for those people back in the cheap seats, they actually have vents back there for them, and cup holders as well. Very quiet, as we said, 71 decibels. It's, you know, it's not a Rolls Royce or something in here, but it is very quiet. It definitely feels like a luxury vehicle. It's on par with the other ones that I've driven. And what else to talk about? I really like your controls down here. As we said, it's elegant styling, and they wanted to go with futuristic because it is electric, but they didn't go total minimalistic like a lot of other vehicles. Now, I realize this is an older vehicle that they're leveraging this technology on. It's not a brand new design, but nonetheless, still, it is very classy in here, and I think that it will age well, and it does fit with an electric type vehicle with that styling. You have this gauge over here, digital, very sharp, very clear, not a lot of customization to it, but it's easy to read, and it actually has a dimming feature feature on it. So depending on the lighting and things like that, it should always, for the most part, look pretty good. And as you can see, what the dealer was showing me today, I didn't see it in a lot of the marketing, but it is pretty cool. Here, where you have your normal, I guess, RPM type gauge in most cars, it's actually showing you in the hybrid mode that I'm in. You have a little lightning bolt, as you can see, and you have a little fuel drop. So when you're within that range there with that blue bar and the lightning bolt, basically it's telling you that you're using just pure electric power, assuming that you charged it up. And when you go over that, then you know you're starting to use the gasoline power, so you're going to start using gas. And with that being said, when you look over at the infotainment, they actually have a page on here, a performance page, that shows you how you're driving, how you've done before, how economic it is. So, you know, if you are somebody that's conscious about that, which you probably are for buying a vehicle like this, then you have that data there. And it's kind of addictive, and it's nice to kind of, like a game, to keep you under there just to see how far you can go on that pure electric power. And like I said, when you are driving with that electric power, that instant torque is really addictive. And it will also show you with that regenerative braking right here as well, that you're charging the battery. This infotainment, anyone that's looking for that Google-based one, that's going to be for 2023. That's that one that's currently in the XC90 Recharge. However, that being said, this still works really, really well, and they've done improvements over the years to it. To me, I actually, when I first got in here, I thought it actually might be that new one, because it really does look good. As you can see, it's very responsive, it's very clear. To be fair, it's not the most intuitive. It's, you know, I've had to kind of dig around a little bit, but I'm sure once you get used to it, it's fine. It's like anything, right? You just follow the little breadcrumbs and you know how to get home. But what I have to say is they've migrated some of the heating and ventilation onto the screen here, which some people don't like, but I don't mind it. And the reason why I don't mind it is because this actually works well. It's stuck on the bottom here all the time, so it doesn't matter where you go, you've always got access to it, and it actually works, as you can see, well. So when I touch it, it works. And a lot of the things aren't buried deep. Some cars you have to go through several screens on there to get at what you want. So they've done a good job in that regard. It just, user interface isn't my favorite. You do have the Bowers and Wilkins sound system in here. I'm not a big radio guy. I have a GTI, and I know that's no comparison to a $100,000 Volvo, but I do have the premium sound system, and it is the premium Autobahn, and the Germans are known for high quality. I'd have to say it's on par with that. There's a lot of cool features, like I currently just had it in a concert mode, and you can really hear the difference in the sound with that. But, you know, all in all, it sounds good. It's not, you know, it's, if you're into that stuff, I don't know, you might want to do a little bit more research, but if you're like me and you just listen to the radio from time to time, it's more than fine. Absolutely. So, which leads me into our final thought. Now, if you like this video, please hit the like button, subscribe, and check out one of these related videos, like on our Porsche Cayenne, so we can get more cool cars like this, or our upcoming video next week, God willing, on the 2022 Porsche Taycan GTS. Now, we started off this review by looking to see if this was a sensible choice for those looking to slowly ease their way into electric, like an old man into a bath, or myself. And here are the facts and feels that have led us to our final thoughts, which are: if you are looking for a practical, safe, and luxurious vehicle that also happens to be electrified and a little bit better for the environment, I don't think that you can go wrong with the 2022 Volvo XC90 Recharge. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again next time.